Anybody that's been watching this channel over the past couple of years, they know that I've been a big fan of Arber Xhekaj since he got his PTO. What a good story he's been. I'm talking undrafted at junior, undrafted in the NHL, even contemplated giving up on hockey at one point. But what did our boy do? He just kept on pushing and, well, maybe punching until 2022 when he made the Canadiens roster right out of camp. It was pretty wicked. I'm wearing my Black Eye from Xhekaj hoodie right now, and man, like, I can't even begin to explain how big of a fan I am. So of course, watching him get sent down to Laval this week was a real steel-toed kick in the nuts for me, was it ever? And unlike a lot of Habs fans, I didn't really buy into this conditioning stint bullshit that everyone was talking about. Why? Because he's 22 years old, that's why. Coming off a minor 2-week injury, we're not talking about a guy that was tossed out of an airplane like Pa Barn. People keep bringing up Carey Price and Brendan Gallagher going down to Laval for conditioning stints, but that's a pretty massive difference, man. It's night and day. Xhekaj himself would admit that he didn't even know what was happening, but apparently he was told that he was being sent down to Laval to work on his game and play some more minutes. Now, does this really sound like an overall horrible idea? No, it doesn't, not really. But here's the problem, and if you watched the Laval game on Wednesday night, you already know exactly what I'm talking about. Xhekaj did not look himself against the baby Sens at all. And if there's one thing that we know about Arby, is that he hates the Sens, especially baby Sens. But after watching this game, I feel like one of two things is happening right now. Number one, Arber Xhekaj is still hurt, which I don't want to believe. Because if he was still hurt, I'd like to imagine that the training staff doesn't let him play. Or number two, and this is where it gets interesting, Arber Xhekaj was told by the Canadiens that he needs to change up his game a little bit. Maybe play a little less aggressively, work on his defense, which not only made him look as uncomfortable as a nun in a whorehouse during his first game in Laval, but it also made him a lot less effective. I didn't like it. Look, I felt like Xhekaj was already taking some positive steps this season. His numbers were looking great after most every game. Yes, he played some sheltered minutes on the bottom pairing, but good numbers are good numbers. I mean, how do people even complain about this stuff? It's hilarious. When I look at Xhekaj in the future, I see him as a bottom pairing defenseman anyway. So if he's not too much of a liability right now at just 22 years old, then boom, that's a really positive sign. Yeah, there's still growing pains. He's obviously going to turn over the puck sometimes, but are we really going to pretend that all the young defensemen in Montreal are perfect right now? Jeez, man, that game against the Kings last night was brutal. But I'm not really worried, because in a few years from now, the Canadiens are going to have a really good D-core. I can smell it. Can you smell it? Yes, because I can. However, keep it in the back of your head. We always got to remember, you can have the talent in the world, the razzle-dazzle anyone could ever want. For example, Lane Hudson looks like he's going to be good. Everybody's hoping Reinbacher is going to have an impact. But if your plan is to ice a blue line full of Petri Mouse in 2025, 2026, you're going to have some problems. I mean, ask Carey Price. That poor guy pretty much had to pick up for himself throughout his entire career. A couple of seasons ago, even Samuel Montembeault got knocked down while his teammates were busy filing their nails. And if you need a reason, this is exactly why you need a player like Xhekaj in the lineup, because not only does he know how to play hockey, but he also knows how to beat the friggin' wheels off someone when he needs to. Zero hesitation. So, there's also been a lot of trade chatter lately since he's been sent down. Fans, of course, are beginning to speculate how much value Xhekaj has, which is fine. I mean, that's going to happen. And in my opinion, you would definitely get a lot for Xhekaj in a trade. You want to know why? Because every team wants or needs somebody like that in their lineup, for the exact reasons I was just talking about. Remember last season when Elliot Friedman pretty much said that every other team in the NHL is just kicking themselves in the shins for passing up on old Arby? It's not a secret, guys. And when you look at all the small forwards that the Canadiens have, and all their smaller defensemen that they're going to be icing over the next few years, I feel like it would be a huge mistake to trade him away. We're talking about a guy that teammates are going to love. He wears that jersey with pride. And that kind of player just doesn't grow on trees anymore. Jaden Struble, for example, looks very similar, but he's also very different in a sense. You know what I mean? I do love his game. He's been really impressive since being called up. He's going to be an NHLer. But still, their games are very different. So all I'm going to say is hopefully the Canadiens aren't trying to change his game up too much right now. Yes, it's completely fine for him to work on his defensive game. Yes, it's okay to give him a lot of minutes. But guys, do we really want to see him get declawed? Do we really want to see him in anger management? No, I definitely don't. I say let Jackie Chan be Jackie Chan, let the jackhammer be the jackhammer, and hopefully he's going to be the man that patrols the Canadiens' blue line for a long time. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Of course, you're not all going to agree with me. I mean, I expect that. But at the same time, you got to understand, Xhekaj is one of my favorite players right now, okay? Some people like Caulfield. Some people like Suzuki. I mean, even Claude Julien really liked Jordan Wheel at one point. He thought he was really good. At the end of the day, I'm just a fan. Don't forget to cross-check the like button in the numbers before you leave here. And hey, see you next time.